everybody, 'tis I. I want to make a video to kind of touch base on the fact that dear Abby recently on Facebook posted about parental estrangement and how a woman wasn't allowed to see her grandchild. And I made a comment, just said there's a lot of parents and grandparents who are estranged from their children and grandchildren. And I got a bunch of backlash, basically probably from 20s and 30-year-olds saying, those are our children, you don't have rights to them. Well, the last time I checked, when individuals owned someone else, it was during slavery, and we all know Lincoln abolished that. So, number one, we don't own anyone else. It doesn't matter if you gave birth to them and brought them forth and are raising them. They're not ours. Our children are not ours. They're not our property that we can't. And I'll tell you what, if they're your property, don't send them to school because they're going to be raised, quote unquote, by someone else. You can homeschool them, and you might as well keep them home and keep them away from other people because society will get a hold of them. Their friends get a hold of them. Their friends' parents get a hold of them. But I bet you're not going to keep them home from school. You're my kids. Well, then keep them home. Raise them. School them. Educate them. And when they turn 18, they're your property. Don't send them out into the world. Don't allow them to go to work, because God forbid their bosses get a hold of them or their co-workers get a hold of them, and don't allow them to join the military, because that's a whole new family. You are basically they're no longer property of mom and dad. They're property of Uncle Sam. So we don't own our children. You can keep them from their grandparents, but then you might as well keep them out of society. I just get a kick out of this. We don't understand. People aren't our property. At any time, God can say, this person's time is done, and take them before they're born, at birth. 1, 2. What if your child gets cancer and it's incurable? What are you going to do? They're not ours. We really don't own anything. You might have a car paid off. If you don't have insurance, it can be repossessed. If you don't pay the taxes on your house at any time, even if it's paid in full, the city can take that from you. They'll just repossess it. We don't own anything. A tornado strikes your house and all yours goes flying around. Might have been yours at one point, but we don't really own anything. I like this shirt, but we don't own anything except ourselves. I would like to have said, I love my daughters and I was their mom and they were my daughters, but I didn't own them. I just find it amusing, actually. And you can hold them hostage. You can hold your children hostage and rip them out of the arms of their loving grandparents with whom they have had a relationship. But I'll tell you what, they're going to ask why. Why did you keep me from grandma? Well, your grandparents were abusive. Well, Mom, Dad, I'd like to see proof of that. Or I'd like to see CPS reports. I'd like to see where anyone else filed to get custody of me. If your parents were abusing you, and you went to school and you were around family and you were in the general public and nobody intervened, why did you keep me from my grandparents? I from all the pictures that your grandparents have taken, you seem to have had a somewhat happy childhood. Nobody took you from them. So therefore, what's the basis of the separation and you ripping me from the loving arms of my grandparents with whom I've come to know, love, spend time with? Yeah, they might have dropped the ball as your parent, but as a grandparent, man, they're fantastic. And that's what you're going to hear if you have ripped your children away from their grandparents. So answer why. You might not have to answer today because the courts don't intervene if parental estrangement happens unless you have a court, unless your state declares that grandparents have rights. But I'll tell you what, you're going to have to answer to those babies someday. And if you love your children, you would want them around other people who love them. So, anyways, that's all I've got, and I'll be back.